And now that the NFL season is officially over, here comes my favorite part of the NFL season, and that is the offseason, where everyone becomes delusional after the draft and free agency, and everyone thinks their team is a Super Bowl contender, and that is why it is my favorite part of the NFL season, other than, of course, the playoffs. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys like and or subscribe. Let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes. But as you guys can see by the title, I don't need to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Shedeur Sanders, New York Giants rebuild. We're going to see how they do. Everyone's morale's down on this team, which is completely understandable. I wouldn't want to play for the Giants either, but we're going to see if Shedeur Sanders can save this franchise, because there's a bunch of reports saying that the Giants are really high on Shedeur Sanders, and they want to see how he does with them. Now, are they going to take him at 3? I don't know. If I were the Giants, I'd probably trade back a couple spots and hope he's still there. They have a really high value pick here in this draft. I feel like they could get a lot more long-term value. I know they need a QB, but the QB class isn't really heavy on this. I don't really think you should force your way to a QB, but if they think Shedeur Sanders is that guy, let's test that out here in Madden and see how it goes. But looking into the team, Malik Neighbors is a beast. Tyrone Tracy was actually pretty underrated this year. He's going to be our long-term back for this rebuild, star development. He's 25 years old. Darius Slayton, I guess they never really figured it out with him. He was goated in my Wheel of Franchise series back in Madden 21. Only real OGs remember that. Wandale Robinson, an awful offensive line. Andrew Thomas is good. He's injured here and there. And then you got the offensive line. Schmitz, I thought this guy would be a lot better. He really wasn't that crazy this year. Got Johnson at tight end. Defensively, well, offensively, hold up. Where's Evan Neal? He's awful, dude. He is so bad. Anyways, defensively, Brian Burns should be playing right end. I moved into a 4-3 because this is my rebuild. I just like 4-3s a lot better. They work out in simulation a lot better. Deontay Banks is pretty good. You got Tyler Nubin as well. Bobby Okereke here. Kayvon Thibodeau. So not really the best. Kayvon Thibodeau has been doing pretty good. Honestly, he's not been doing top 5 pick good, but he's been doing pretty good. Evan Neal has just been awful in general. And I'm a complete idiot, and I just skipped past the re-signing period. I didn't know I was that far, so I'm in free agency now. Who did I lose? I lost Darius Slayton. I honestly don't really care about that. I lost Drew Lock. I don't care about that either. Defensively, I lost Azeez Ojulari, which isn't that big of a deal if I'm being real, because I had Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. Probably wouldn't have re-signed him anyways. Michael McFadden is pretty underrated. Forgot to mention him. Maybe make him the starter. Is he currently an outside linebacker? No, he's listed as a middle linebacker. I might start him over Bobby Okereke. But yeah, I really didn't lose anyone else. I lost my 60 overall, well, 69 overall free safety. And in free agency, Zeitler's not going to want to come back to us. He's going to want to win somewhere else. Jeremy Chin, probably don't really want him for the long term. You got Ryan Kelly. You need to fill up these Band-Aid players for a couple years. I'll sign Ryan Kelly. After free agency, I got a bunch of temporary players on the offensive line. Got Ryan Kelly, Rob Havenstein. Then I got DJ Jones back to the Giants here on a 1-year deal. Then I got Jason Pinnock here back on a 1-year deal as well. Probably going to replace him long term, but I filled in these players for now. Not even going to get into the details here. Let's just get straight into it. Shedeur Sanders is the number 3 overall pick in the draft. Hidden development, 92 throw power, 84 speed, 85 change direction, and 85 acceleration. A's and B's across the board. He will hopefully be the QB of the future for the Giants. Round number 2, picking up right guard Jaden Roberts. Normal development. We'll see how he does, though. Sometimes it doesn't really matter the development. Sometimes the offensive linemen just perform well regardless. 88 strength, 68 speed, 78 acceleration. He had A's and B's across the board. Doesn't seem like the worst pick, but of course you would like the hidden development. Round number 3, picking up wide receiver Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. Normal development again, but he still seems overall pretty good. I feel like I can develop him to at least a star development, so I'm cool with this pick. And then round number 4, just as a filler player, Jalen Reed here at Penn State. 6 foot, 209, normal development, 88 speed, 91 acceleration. I didn't have the best drafts in terms of developments, but I'm honestly cool with developing a lot of these guys. This is the team after the offseason in the draft. Shedeur Sanders is up to a 75 overall after a little bit of preseason XP here. You got Roberts at a 70 overall, but that's fine for now. Offensive line doesn't look horrible now, especially on paper here. It's a little bit better. Trey Harris is a 74 overall. Hopefully he can develop as well. Defensively, that's what we got going on. Chapman is going to be the edge rusher. He's actually not bad in simulation. I've seen him in previous simulations. Actually, no, it's going to be Brian Burns. Why does it not move him down there? Please tell me you're right end. Yeah, you're a right end, and it's refusing to put him at right end. I need a right end. Please move to right end. I have to manually force it to right end, even though the AI cannot recognize my 88 overall superstar development. I'm going to lose my mind, dude. Do I have to move Micah McFadden to outside linebacker so it stops bugging? I'm going to be signing Zach Cunningham just on a 1-year deal, just that way Brian Burns can play his actual position. There we we go. That fixed it. I know technically Brian Burns is an outside linebacker, but that's for a 3-4 scheme. We're in a 4-3. So everything else here is nice and filled out. We got Drew Phillips here as the number 1, and then we got Deonte Banks as the 2. Tyler Nubin there. Micah McFadden on the outside. Everything else seems good. Specialist-wise, Tyrone Tracy's getting all the reps there. And then Trey Harris, I'm going to put him in the slot for now. Everything else looks pretty good. Bobby Okereke is there as well. And then, yeah, everything else looks good. I don't know who this guy is. Sure, let's start him over Evan Neal, so that way we actually get XP. Evan Neal's not going to develop. Everyone else here, pretty good with. Let's see how Shedeur Sanders does in year number 1. These are my playbooks and my schemes, just for everyone asking. This is always what I run. Let's move into the midseason mark. 3-4 at the midseason mark. Honestly surprising, coming off a loss to the Broncos, then a crushing win to the Cardinals there. 22nd offensive points per game, but 10th in passing yards, 7th best defensive points per game, but 32nd in rushing defense and 2nd in passing defense. Scouting national focus here. I kind of just want to do I do offensive tackle or interior offensive line? I kind of want to just do interior offensive lineman here. And for the players ready to negotiate, Wan'Dale Robinson. He's not crazy in real life. He's definitely not going to get $12 million a year. He wants to be in the Super Bowl chase. He doesn't really like the scheme fit. I'm going to overpay for him, technically, around $13 million a year for him. I mean, he isn't crazy on the Giants. He's definitely not bad for what they have going for them. But in Madden, he's young. He has star development. He's going to be good for us long term. I want him on the team. I'm going to pay the extra money I have for him. Kayvon Thibodeau, want him long term. Even though he hasn't lived up to a top 5 pick potential, he's still a good player. He's only $13 million a year for an edge rusher. He's young. He has star development. I want him to be on the team. And then Cordell Float here, or is it Cordell or Cordero? Cordell, my bad. Cordell Float. I don't know why I said Cordero, but either way, 24, star development, young guy. He wants a cheap contract. I'm giving him 5 years. I know that may not be the most realistic. It's stupid cheap. He's young. Micah McFadden, I do want back on the team. He wants to have a winning record with the coach. I'm going to give him a player-friendly deal. He still says no to that. We're going to see how he plays. Evan Neal, God, no, I'm not signing you back. Daniel Bellinger, no. Dane Belton, and then all these other extras. We'll see how DJ Jones and Rob Havenstein's plays, all these other extras. Just not interested in. Chad Ryland, actually. He is young, and he's a kicker, so why not just sign him on the team long term? And we get to keep him, and everyone else here, I'm not really going to re-sign. Deonte Banks, I'm going to accept his option. Anyways, let's move in to the playoffs to see if we can potentially make them year 1 with Shedeur Sanders. 11-6, and we get what? The number 1 seed in the very first year with Shedeur Sanders, 11-6, is crazy. Being a 1 seed at 11-6 is ridiculous. Number 1 passing defense in the NFL, number 4 defensive points per game, 9th best offense in passing yards, and then 18th best offense in points per game, 27th best rushing defense with a great defensive line. That's weird. Stats and awards. Shedeur Sanders, passing touchdowns, passer rating's not that good, but yards is good. 16th best offense, 3rd best defense here. I mean, really good passing yards, 4,200, but his passer rating 20th, passing touchdowns is 20th as well. 29 touchdowns to 17 interceptions is not a good ratio, but at the same time, for a rookie, it's not horrible, I guess. I mean, interception a game he's averaging. We got to clean that up. Obviously, he's a rookie, but really not bad, especially getting a 1 seed in year number 1 with the team. That's great for him. Wearing number 2 as well. I like that. Only got sacked 27 times. Offensive line did their job. Tyrone Tracy, 1 fumble, 10 touchdowns, 3.4 per carry is not very good. And then Trey Harris, rookie year, almost 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's star development. So he was still a good pick, even though he has normal development. Sometimes you got to let those normal developments just cook. Malik Neighbors, 5 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. Theo Johnson, 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. 6 touchdowns for Wan'Dale Robinson and 800 yards. Sacks allowed, Rob Havenstein, 7. Andrew Thomas, 5. 5 for Ryan Kelly, 3 for John, and then 3 for Jaden Roberts. Again, only a 70 overall normal development, rookie year, only allowing 3 sacks. That's great. This offensive line did surprisingly well, maybe because Shedeur Sanders just scrambled out of the pocket before they could touch him. But either way, this is surprisingly good for this offensive line. Bobby Okereke here, 113 tackles, sacks for a loss, 14 for DJ Jones, 12 for Kayvon Thibodeau, 12 for Brian Burns, 11 for Micah McFadden and Dexter Lawrence. Sacks, 15.5 for Kayvon Thibodeau, 10 for Brian Burns, 9 for Dexter Lawrence, 7.5 for DJ Jones. I'm going to re-sign DJ Jones. This is a good season. 14 tackles for a loss and 7.5 sacks. Interceptions here, 4 for Bobby Okereke. Deflections here, 6 for Bobby Okereke and Drew Phillips, 4 for Tyler Nubin and a handful of others. And then safeties here, 0 defensive touchdowns is 0. Can Shedeur Sanders beat the 91 overall, 9-7-1 San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round to move on to the conference championship in year number 1? And he does. 31-24. What alternate universe are we living in where the Panthers and the Giants are going to be playing in the conference championship? No way. Let's see how this goes as we get home field advantage, obviously. Let's see if we're going to beat the Panthers versus the Giants to move on to the Super Bowl. Here we are versus the Panthers. They're going to start out with nothing. We started out with nothing. We're driving down the field. First points on the board go to us. They're going to respond 7-7 here in the second half. Not really doing much either team. 14-7. Pretty stale game. Defenses win championships here. 14-14. Driving down the field. Going to make it nothing. In overtime. I guess we missed the field goal kick. Keep driving, keep going. What are you doing? No, what a stale overtime. We were in the red zone. I guess we missed the field goal or threw a pick or something. 17-14. We're going to lose the conference championship, and the Panthers are going to the Super Bowl. I didn't think I would say that for a long time. The Chiefs crushed the Panthers in the Super Bowl. I mean, they beat them by 2 scores, but at the same time, you do all that work just to get there, just to lose to the Chiefs. Now, another upsetting end here. Patrick Mahomes wins another Super Bowl MVP and another league MVP here. No awards here for the New York Giants. Really? No Rookie of the Year? Wide receiver Xavier Respirado here wins the Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Browns. In the NFC East, Jimmy Ward, Eric Kendricks, Rob Havenstein, and Lane Johnson all retire. For the team upgrade, Shedeur Sanders is a superstar development. Did he get that or did he earn that? He earned that for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm assuming that's for the NFC, not the AFC, because that was for the Browns. But let's just equip superstar abilities. Sure, let's give him no look Deadeye, and let's give him comeback. And I know the comeback ability is for him to easily enter the zone. I guess I technically shouldn't put that on him, but I guess it really just doesn't matter. Let's do tight out. And then for the rest of the team upgrades, Trey Harris. Come on, dude. Like, come on. Like, I know some people are always going to be complaining and say it's cheating. He had 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns in his rookie year. I think that's star development for his rookie year. Obviously, that's not a crazy season, but 1,100 yards, that's one of the top receivers. And then Theo Johnson here gets star development. This guy, he was a backup, has star development. Sure, let's start him over Evan Neal and see how he does. I think he's definitely worthy of that. Let me know if you agree. But anyone else here, Roberts, I would argue star development as well. He only allowed 3 sacks in his rookie year, but I'm not going to push my luck. I'm going to leave him at normal development here. Micah McFadden goes to star development. That's nice. Anyone else with the upgrades? DJ Jones goes to star development. Surprise, Kayvon Thibodeau had like, what, 15.5, 13.5 sacks, and he doesn't get an upgrade. Disappointing, but it is what it is. $116 million to spend for the players ready to negotiate. Deonte Banks, I'm not going to accept his option just because I would rather just pay him and give him a contract. Micah McFadden, I will overpay for him again, and very player-friendly, $9 million a year. He resigns with the team. Evan Neal can walk. Daniel Bellinger, don't really need. Dane Belton, I don't really need as well. DJ Jones had a great year with us. No reason not to re-sign him. He's going to sign back on 1 more year. And then all these other extras, I'm just not interested in. $97 million to spend in free agency. Let's see what we got. We got Joe Thuney here in free agency. Honestly, the O-line really didn't do that bad. I need a right tackle. And Luke Gaduk here? I don't know how you say it. Luke Gaduk. Luke Gaduk is going to be a guy I'm looking into. Let me see his stats. 2 sacks allowed in Tampa Bay. I want that. But do I want it for $20 million a year? I know I have money, but am I willing to pay $20 million a year for an 84 overall right tackle? Probably not. I'd rather take my chances. I'm not going to lie. Quay Walker, though, is a guy that I'm interested in. So let me see how much that pushes me up. Do I pay him the extra mile to, I mean, it's $14 million a year. Let's see how he does. He's young. He has star development. I have the money. After free agency, I got Jalen Petrie on a 4-year contract. He didn't really want to be here. Completely understandable, but money changed his mind. Then I got Kevin Byard just on a 1-year deal, and then CJ Mosley on a 1-year deal just as Band-Aid players. And the Titans get the #1 overall draft pick again. They're going to pick up a receiver. Let's see what we got here at pick 30. And I did do Scouting National Focus into your offensive line. I will be looking at center later down the board to replace our current center, Ryan Kelly, I believe. But I do need a free safety because Kevin Byard is just a 1-year option. This dude has A, awareness. So many question marks on the board for him out of Oregon State here. Good speed, good jumping, good acceleration, solid strength, A, awareness, B, play rec, B, hit power, B, injury. He looks good. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, look at the other prospects. I think this guy looks great. Ranked 12, got him at 30. Hidden development. No need to look at the other prospects. This was a hit. I know everyone's probably going to be like, oh, you're so stupid for picking a safety in the first round. You just signed Jalen Petrie. I have Jalen Petrie. I also have Tyler Nubin. Backup safeties actually do stuff in Madden Simulation. I know I could have just signed Kevin Byard over and over again or have another person, but I probably, if I'm being honest, I probably should have gone someone else there, but I did have that offensive tackle. Did they cut him or did I just not re-sign him? I guess I didn't re-sign him and I should have picked offensive tackle. No, he's right here. So I bamboozled myself. I don't need receiver. I don't need quarterback. I'm fine with developing that running back. I'm good on tight end, honestly, with Theo Johnson. Defensive line, I could pick up the defensive tackle. I need an outside linebacker, more of a coverage linebacker. I'm good on corner, good on safety. I just need my guys to develop. So it wasn't really the worst pick, but I definitely probably should have gone offensive tackle there. I think I bamboozled myself. It's fine. Round number 2. Let's go pick up a defensive tackle or a center. This guy looks good. Terrell Leak here looks overall pretty good. 6'3", 330. Elite strength is all I need to see, and he will be the guy. Rank 30, got him at 62. Hidden development, 98 strength. Don't question my drafting skills. As soon as I see it, I know it. Then we got some day 3 centers here. Don't really look the best, but I'm going to go with probably middle linebacker. There's pass coverage guy and Johnny Rivers. Doesn't really look the best. Let's look at a right side linebacker. Power rusher, I need a coverage guy. This guy's a coverage guy. This guy's a run stopper, a tackle from Justin Forbes, 6 foot, 232 out of LSU. Not really that athletic. It doesn't really seem that good, if I'm being honest. So let's go back to the centers here. Let's see if there's anyone that's really outstanding. This guy has A's and B's on his board. Chad Green, day 3 at a Clemson center. Doesn't really look the best, but hey, we're in round 4. Why not pick him? No, it's round 3, I think. And hidden development. I don't really care. I don't really care if he's ranked 227 in the class. He's going to develop behind our current center, and then we're going to start him later on. And then finally, our defensive line situation last year was ranked 27th, so I'm going to pick up a depth defensive tackle just for a good measure, you know. Strength. There's a guy with great strength. We're going to pick him. Rodney Cumberland out of Ohio here. I was about to say Ohio, but either way, we got tackle, play rec at a B. It's fine. I don't really care. He has the great strength. Ranked 92, got him at 126. Good value pick overall. So ranked 91 strength as well. Not bad. I'm going to simulate to the end of the draft. After the draft, Cole Stewart is a 76 overall. So even though we didn't necessarily need free safety, that was still a good value pick. And then Terrell Leaks is 74, 64 for Chad Green, but he's going to be a backup and he has hidden development, so that honestly wasn't a bad pick. Rodney Cumberland, 70 overall, normal development. That's nice depth. Then I stopped drafting after that. This is the team after the draft. I want that guy playing right tackle, so I'm going to cut this guy. Now this is what the team looks like after the draft. We're just going to start this guy just because he has start development. What if he balls out? That would be crazy. We got Brevin Jordan. I completely forgot about him. I remember whenever everyone was like, oh, he's going to be so good and unbelievably mid tight end, but then for the rest of the team here, we got the last dude with L Hammer, baby. L Hammer. Oh, L Hamner. My bad, not Hammer. Hamner. But either way, we got Tracy. Hopefully he develops. We're going to move up Green, so hopefully he can develop over Schmitz here. I had really high hopes for John Smits, I believe, and he didn't really turn out to be that good. But hopefully the Giants can develop him in real life. We got Stewart as a backup. We're going to make him backup on both sides. It actually does help in simulation, having backup safeties and defensive tackles. It does make a little bit of a difference. And then CJ Mosley, I'm going to move to outside linebacker. And then for the defensive line, I'm honestly going to start Leak. I know DJ Jones had a really good year last year, but after this season, I'm not going to keep him back on the team. Everything seems pretty good here, specialist-wise. I'm going to have Trey Harris in the slot, and everyone else looks pretty good. Micah McFadden is going to be the #1 there. And yeah, Stewart is not going to be in the slot. We're going to have Float there, and actually he can. He's going to be a number 70. He's going to be 77 overall in the slot. He's going to be just in rotation. That's honestly cool with me. So apart from that, let's move into the midseason mark. We are 3-4 once again, coming off a crushing loss to the Cowboys, 41-3, and then a crushing loss to the Panthers, 38-13. So we seem to be on a downtrend on the second half of the season. The defense is just mid. The offense is only good in its passing offense. It's 29th in offensive points per game. Scouting national focus. I'm going to do middle linebacker here to replace Bobby Okereke and CJ Mosley. For the players who get to negotiate, Deonte Banks, want to give him a long-term deal. Only $7 million a year. Absolutely. 5-year contract. He resigns. Bobby Okereke, I'm honestly cool with 1 more year, but that's it. He's pushing 31 here, so he's going to resign on that. Devin Singletary can walk. John has honestly not done bad for us after the 1 season I watched him. It's only $5 million. He's 29, but it's fine. He has star development. And then Elijah Chapman can walk, and then all these other extras can walk as well. DJ Jones. Depends how he plays. The third string, I doubt he plays well. Same thing with some CJ Mosley, and then you got LaJarvis Hamner, my bad. And then you got Ryan Kelly. I'll probably just move on from him. Even though he's been pretty good for us, he's going to only start regressing. I have someone in line to replace him. Then we got Malik Neighbors. I'll accept that option later. So let's move into the playoffs for now. And we finished 7-10, which is funny because I improved my defense a lot, and the only thing I really lost was my right tackle and Rob Havenstein, who was only going to regress. So this is a huge flip from going 11-6 to 7-10 with a better team. Shedeur Sanders, top 5 passing yards. His passer rating, passing touchdowns still isn't good. 11th best offense, and then 2nd best defense, and we still went 7-10. 26 interceptions. Get it together, Shedeur Sanders. I'm not gonna move on from him. I have to develop him. This is a Shedeur Sanders rebuild. You got to get it together, dude. 26 interceptions is ridiculous. He had less passing touchdowns, more passing yards, less passer rating. He got sacked a bunch more this time. And then Tyrone Tracy here, 1 fumble, 11 touchdowns, 3.8 per carry. He's improving, but I need him to get a little bit better, a little bit quicker here. Trey Harris, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. He deserves his start development. That's great. And then Malik Neighbors, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Wandale Robinson, 900 yards, 4 touchdowns. Theo Johnson, 900 yards and 4 touchdowns as well. Sacks allowed here. It's Andrew Thomas. That's the problem. The right tackle allowed 7. Honestly, that's not bad. Ozzy Trapelo is his last name. That's fire. That's actually a fire name. Ozzy being your first name, Ozzy Osbourne. But Andrew Thomas, awful season from him. Ryan Kelly, I'm just going to replace him in the next season. He's only going to regress. This guy, honestly, for being a 64 overall star development, I'll keep it. It's not bad, really. Jaden Roberts, even though he was normal development, 70 overall, he's still doing good. And then John, I just gave him a contract. He's still doing good for us. Andrew Thomas, not a good year. Bobby Okereke, 110 tackles for a loss, 13 for Dexter Lawrence, 11 for Kayvon Thibodeau, 11 for Brian Burns, 8 for Bobby Okereke, sacks, 20.5 for Kayvon Thibodeau. That deserves X Factor, but at least give him superstar development. Brian Burns, 9.5, 6 for Dexter Lawrence, 3 for DJ Jones, 6 tackles for a loss. Still really didn't do bad as a defensive tackle. 3, probably still going to let him walk. Interceptions, 5 for Bobby Okereke, 4 for Micah McFadden. Deflections here, 9 for Tyler Nubin, 8 for Drew Phillips, and for Deontay Banks. Safeties on the team, 0 defensive touchdowns is 0. So honestly, other than Shedeur Sanders, our stats really didn't look bad. Shedeur Sanders just needs to put 2 and 2 together already. And I know some people may be like, oh, Vic, you got to let him develop. He's a superstar development. We were in the conference championship last year, and somehow he just got worse. And the Eagles prevent the Bills from getting a Super Bowl win, as the Bills are 0-5 in the Super Bowls now. 31-23, Josh Sweat wins the Super Bowl MVP. Josh Allen wins the league MVP and the Offensive Player of the Year. No awards here for the New York Giants. And for the team upgrades, this guy, Ozzy, doesn't really go up overall, but he's honestly not really that bad. He's a 69 overall without the morale downgrade. Everything else seems the same on offense, so we're cool with that. Defensively, any actual upgrades, CJ Mosley heavily regressed. Kayvon Thibodeau goes to superstar development. Should be X Factor, but I'm cool with that. And Stewart here, I don't care what people say. I know I gave Jalen Petrie a contract. I do not care. Stewart here comes with superstar X Factor. I'm sure plenty of people will be like, oh my gosh, you picked up Kevin Byard, who ended up getting cut by the AI, and Jalen Petrie. Why would you pick him up? Because I know. I got the nose for this things. I got the big brain play. My Madden intuition just led me to him. Stewart comes with superstar X Factor. He's going to be the starter over Jalen Petrie. He's already a higher overall with the boost. He's the same overall without the boost. He's actually, with the boost, he's the same overall without Jalen Petrie's morale going down. Either way, he is a superstar X Factor, and he's going to be a baller. Leak is a star development. That's fine with me. Bobby Okereke, he's about to be 31. He went from an 85 to an 82. He's here for 1 more year, then I'm going to replace him, but Stewart is going to be the starter despite me giving Jalen Petrie a contract. I have a bunch of money, so it's fine. For the team re-signings, $126 million to spend. Malik Neighbors, I'm going to accept his option. Devin Singletary can walk. Chapman can walk. Jalen Hyatt, I would really like him to be good in real life, but I don't think he's getting enough opportunities. DJ Jones and all these other extras, I'm just going to let walk. Ryan Kelly's really not doing that bad for us, but again, I want to develop the new guy. Let's move into free agency. In free agency, Brian Branch here. I got safeties galore here in the simulation. I don't really need Zay Flowers. I'm fine with Wandale Robinson and Trey as well. Elton Jenkins, honestly, offensive line really isn't doing me bad other than Andrew Thomas. Ron Lee Stanley's here. I'm not going to really sign him for 1 year. Dalton Kincaid, I like Theo Johnson. Dalton Kincaid would be a better option at that tight end position, would be another weapon, and I do have the money. Theo Johnson's doing good, but at the same time, if I can get Dalton Kincaid, why would I just not have him on my team? Let's try him out. After free agency, I did not get the tight end I wanted. I mean, Tucker Kraft is still here, but at the same time, Theo Johnson's like the same overall, and I don't have to pay Theo Johnson, but Jordan Davis is the guy that I got. He's the one and only guy. All these other guys, I just don't really want or even need any of these guys. I just need Shedeur Sanders to develop, and I need also Andrew Thomas to not allow a crap ton of sacks, which is asking a lot. But anyways, yeah, every one of these guys I'm just not really interested in. Let's move into the draft. I need linebacker. I'm good on defensive line. We're going to see how Green does in his rookie year, or I could just draft someone else if I'm being honest, because I have a lot of good draft picks. I need a backup tight end, need a fullback. Honestly, I'm really cool at receiver. I'm really fine with that. Tyrone Tracy is going to still be the starter. Shedeur Sanders needs to hurry up and develop already. And honestly, I really don't know what to pick in the first round because middle linebackers are usually second round values. So we'll see what we have. In the first round here, the New Orleans Saints have the #1 overall pick. They're going to pick up a defensive end. I may just trade back here. I really don't need anyone. A bunch of QBs on the board, bunch of offensive tackles. Not going to replace Andrew Thomas just yet, so it didn't give him a chance here. A right guard. It would be cool if a center was on the top of this board. That'd be the only thing here. I really don't need edge rusher. My offensive line isn't doing bad other than Andrew Thomas. I'm cool on receiver. Of course, I'm developing Shedeur Sanders. I'm fine on the running back position. I don't really need corner, and I don't really want to force it, especially with all these players at the top of the board. I'm going to trade back. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with this for the Packers. I trade back to pick 28, get their next year's first, their next year's third, their this year's fifth, and then their next year's seventh. Really good value for me long term. I'm going to take that. I really don't need much of anything else. And let's see what the Packers are going to take. They're going to pick an offensive tackle. Gave up 2 first-round picks for that. Good choice, I guess. But now that I'm in the late first round, I don't really see much of anything here. There's a middle linebacker, Eddie Fowler here, 6'4", 228 out of San Diego State. Good speed, great strength, and not great strength, great acceleration. See awareness, though. He really doesn't seem a first-round pick worthy, but everyone else here doesn't really look that crazy either. Second or third rounder center in Melvin Marshall, 6'4", 300 pounds out of Arkansas. I know I said I want to look at the other guy, but I feel like this is good enough value here. I'm going to pick a Melvin Marshall, reach on him a little bit. Ranked 64, got him at 28, but he has the hidden development out of Arkansas here. He's going to be the starter. And in round number 2 at pick number 11, let's look at the middle linebackers. Justin Gibson is at the top of the board here, and he honestly looks pretty sick. He has the A awareness, 6'2", 233 out of Washington. Is it out of Washington? Yes, it is. He has great speed, elite jumping, good acceleration, marginal strength, but A awareness. B's across the board. I'm going to pick Justin Gibson as the guy here. Ranked 61, got him at 43. Hidden development, still a good pick. I'm nailing these picks. Let's move him to right outside linebacker. And then I'm going to double down here on middle linebacker to replace Bobby Okereke, but looking at these skills, this guy looks the best here. He has the lowest awareness. Actually, no, it's this guy that looks the best. Bryce Gregory here, 3rd to 4th round projection. I'm in the mid third round. I mean, I'm at pick number 11, but still 6 foot, 240 out of Oregon here. Elite speed, good acceleration. Honestly, that's all I need to see. He is going to be the guy. I don't know if he's going to have hidden development. Ranked 69, got him at 75, but he does have hidden development. Elite speed at 91 speed, 89 acceleration. He's going to be great. And then in round number 4, I'm interested in getting a 4th defensive back. Also, actually, I need a backup tight end. That would be more important to me. Alan Bayer here is at the top of the board. Looking at the skills, though, across the board, this guy, he is 6'4", 262 out of Florida, elite strength, good speed, a catch in traffic. We're going to pick him as a backup tight end. Ranked 177, got him at 107. That's fine. He's just going to be a depth piece. Brian Sellers as a fullback utility guy. Honestly, why not? Elite speed, great acceleration. Sure, his blocking isn't the best. I don't really care. He's an athlete. Ranked 201, got him at 39. I don't really care. It's a fullback that just fills a position for me. Melvin Marshall's a 72. 72 for Justin Gibson. 71 for Bryce Gregory. 67 for this tight end, but he's a backup. 66 for the fullback, but that's fine. And then all these other extras I didn't pick up. This is the team after the draft. Marshall is a 74 overall after the preseason XP. Everything else looks pretty good there. 88 overall superstar development, Shedeur Sanders. Please develop this season. I'm going to move Gibson to right outside linebacker. There's nothing else here that stands out. Let's move Stewart up to the number 1, and then Kerr, the AI, picked up that guy as the backup corner. That's fine with me. I honestly wanted a number 4 corner, and then specialist-wise, anything else here? Trey Harris, let's keep putting him in the slot over Wan'Dale Robinson because he's balling there. Everything else seems pretty good. Stewart is not going to be this sub linebacker. Please make him the number 1. That's pretty annoying, but anyways, everything else seems pretty good. Let's see what we got for year number 3 in the midseason mark. And we are 4-3, winning team at the midseason mark, coming off a loss to the Buccaneers, 23-17, then a win to the Eagles, 20-17. Our passing offense is 5th, but our points per game is 17, so I'm assuming he's still throwing interceptions. Anyone really standing out here on the leaderboard stat sheet? None that I can see. Scouting national focus. Let's do quarterback because Shedeur Sanders sucks. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, I need to have him on the team. I don't really need corner. I don't need defensive line. I just filled out middle linebackers. I don't need anything other than Shedeur Sanders to do something. So sure, scouting national focus, running back. Players ready to negotiate. Dexter Lawrence here. I, of course, want him back. Let's do a 3-year deal, even though he's about to turn 30. That's $40 million a year for him. He resigns. Drew Phillips here, 5-year contract, $12 million a year. He resigns back on the team. Tyrone Tracy, I still want back long term. He's slowly developing, but he's about to start regression. We'll see how it goes. Theo Johnson's been great for us. I do want him back, even if I have to overpay a little bit. He resigns on the team. Tyler Nubin, I do want long term, and then he resigns as well. We're down to $30 million because of that big contract. And then Ty Wagner as a backup, sure, it's stupid cheap, less than $1 million a year. Honestly, a 5-year deal. He's young. He has star development. Why not? Bobby Okereke, I'm probably going to let walk. He's going to be down to like an 80 or 79 overall. And then all these other extras, just don't really want. This guy was from the draft class, I guess. I guess his name was just a slur according to the AI, which is crazy. And then Shedeur Sanders, I'm going to have to accept his option. He's not been good for us. I'm going to probably draft a different punter, but $29 million left. Doesn't really matter. Let's move in to the playoffs. 12-5, coming off a loss to the Rams, but a crushing win to the Cowboys, 35-7 here. 6th best points per game, 6th best passing offense, 10th best points per game in defense, best passing defense in the league, 16th rushing defense, which is crazy with how good my defensive line is. Stats and awards, Shedeur Sanders finally put it together. 7th best offense in the NFL, 2nd best defense here. He has 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, still a little bit too many interceptions, but it's gone down. Much better than 26 or 17 interceptions. 13 interceptions, 113 pass rating, got sacked 27 times. Offensive line did their job. Tyrone Tracy, 0 fumbles, 19 touchdowns, 3.9 per carry, 1,000 yards. Good stuff. Trey Harris with 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors, 10 touchdowns, 900 yards. 900 yards for Wan'Dale Robinson, 5 touchdowns. Theo Johnson, 850 yards and 7 touchdowns. Sacks allowed. Andrew Thomas still allowing double-digit sacks, but I guess it's better than last year. John with 5, and then Ozzie with 5 as well. I mean, he was a 62 overall when I first got him, and the AI picked him up. He's going to be a starter for us. Melvin Marshall with 5 sacks in his rookie year allowed. And then Jaden Roberts, he's been really good for us. 1 sack allowed. Bobby Okereke, 101 tackles for a loss, 14 for Jordan Davis, 12 for Kayvon Thibodeau, 11 for Dexter Lawrence, 10 for Brian Burns, sacks, 16.5 for Brian Burns, 11.5 for Dexter Lawrence, 7.5 for Kayvon Thibodeau. And then interceptions here. Who had the 16.5? Brian Burns. Hopefully that's X factor. Interceptions, 4 for Cole Stewart here, his starting year as a safety. Deflections, 8 for Micah McFadden, Andrew Phillips, 6 for Cordell Float here, and then safeties, 0 defensive touchdowns is 0. And we were 12-5, and we had the number 5 seed because the Eagles went 13-4, Commanders went 11-6. But can we beat the 11-6 Green Bay Packers, who were 1 overall higher than them, to move on to the divisional round? And we do, 19-13, here to face the 13-4 Los Angeles Rams. There's no way Matthew Stafford is still their quarterback. Pretty sure he would have retired by now. George Nixon is the QB of the Giants here out of Virginia Tech. It's his 2nd year in the league. Wearing number 19 as a quarterback is disgusting, but he seems like a baller. Can we beat the Los Angeles Rams to go back to the conference championship with Shedeur Sanders? Much better season for him this year, and we do, beating the Rams by 2 scores here to face the 14-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Please tell me Baker Mayfield is balling for him. And he is. Baker Mayfield is a 93 overall superstar development with the boost. He's an 86 overall without it. Let's see if Baker Mayfield can ball out and win the Buccaneers a Super Bowl. Here we are versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to start out with a punt. We're going to respond to a 3. Decent start for us. We're going to make it a 10-0 game in Tampa Bay. It's 10-7 here against the Buccaneers. We scored nothing opening up the half or ending the half, but still, I guess our kicker is that bad. I don't know why. We just keep missing those. 20-10 versus the Buccaneers, and that will be your final score as our defense completely stomped them down. Offense did just enough to get the job done, and we will be moving on to the Super Bowl with Shedeur Sanders, as he had 2 touchdowns, 215 yards, no interceptions, 122 pass rating. Not a bad game. And then Tyrone Tracy, only 3.2 per carry for him. And then overall, Trey Harris, 78 yards, 7 receptions and a touchdowns. And then Tyrone Tracy here, the running back, more receiving yards and more touchdowns than he did rushing. Good job for him. We're moving on to the Super Bowl in year number 3. Here we are to face the 12-5 Indianapolis Colts. I'm assuming they developed Anthony Richardson. He's pretty good in simulation. Not going to lie, in real life, he doesn't look the best, but hopefully they can develop him. He is an 88 overall, normal development, but he is a 93 overall with the boost. So that's a bit surprising that the Colts are still rolling with him, and they're in the Super Bowl with a normal development Anthony Richardson. For the team upgrade, Shedeur Sanders doesn't get upgraded. Theo Johnson does. Ozzie is up to a 74 overall without the boost. Everyone else looks the same here. Defensively, any other actual upgrades? Gibson, we still don't know. Micah McFadden goes to superstar development. Brian Burns, 16.5 sacks and still doesn't get an upgrade. That's kind of ridiculous, but I'm not going to pick and choose this time. He's going to stay superstar development. Let's see if we're going to beat the Indianapolis Colts with Shedeur Sanders in the Giants rebuild, and then, of course, go to year number 4. Here we are against the Colts. They're going to open up with nothing. We're going to respond with 7. A great start for the team. We're going to take the ball back and then, I guess, turn turn it over, and then they punted, but it's 14-0 now, and then 14-7 here, and then we're going to make it 21-7, crushing them now with the offense. Defense holding them to 7 points. Amazing job from them. Defense wins championships here, 24-7, as Shedeur Sanders and the New York Giants are your Super Bowl champions, something you'll probably never hear in real life, but you get to hear it here for the New York Giants. You love to see it. This will be a successful rebuild, but we got one more year to go. Let's see if we can go back-to-back. Anthony Richardson, not even 100 yards, 99 yards for him, 50 pass rating, 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. That's the Anthony Richardson I know, but Shedeur Sanders, 111 pass rating, 186 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. Keep in mind, it's only 6-minute quarters. Tyrone Tracy, not that crazy, but it'll probably go, it's either Malik Neighbors, no, probably will go to a defensive player. Shedeur Sanders wins the MVP after not even getting 200 passing yards. He also threw an interception, but hey, whatever, we'll take it. Josh Allen wins the league MVP here. No other awards for the Giants. Let's see if we can go back-to-back with Shedeur Sanders here. In the NFC East, Joe Thuney retires on the Commanders. And for the players ready to negotiate Shedeur Sanders, I will accept his option. Bobby Okereke, honestly, as depth, I'm cool with him back. Just one more year because I have the money to do it anyways. All these other extras, not really interested in. Honestly, for the punter, let's just give him one more year for, no, he doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be on the Super Bowl winning team. That's weird. Jahmyr Gibbs is in free agency, and Tyrone Tracy has yet to give me like a 4.0 average season, I think. Creed Humphrey, I get Jahmyr Gibbs in a lot of my simulations, and because he's always just here. And then Ali McNeil's here. I really don't need much of anything, if I'm being honest. Is there any other running backs? Jonathan Brooks, I could look into that. But I know I get a lot. I have money. Why not just get Jahmyr Gibbs, you know? I know I just signed Tyrone Tracy. Why not just snag Jahmyr Gibbs? Got him, and then I did get punter Michael Dixon. So cool. We're all good with that. Why not just try that? I really don't need anything from this next draft. I could try and trade for a superstar, but do I really need anything else? I just got superstar Jahmyr Gibbs. My offensive line is really not doing that bad other than my highest overall offensive lineman, Andrew Thomas. My receivers are still doing good. That's crazy for Giants fans to hear that too. And then Bobby Okereke, I guess I'm going to start him again. I'm cool with my safeties, a 90 overall after 1 season. That's great. And my defensive line looks great. Maybe I get a superstar X Factor to replace Tyler Nubin because, again, I really just don't need the draft right now. My team is pretty stacked out now that Shedeur Sanders is actually a good overall, but I could swap Jalen Petrie because I don't need his contract. I could swap him for a really good, strong safety. Okay, so I really can't do that because, number one, nobody has the cap room to do that. And number two, I don't know what I would draft in the draft. I have receiver, I have quarterback, I have offensive line, I have defensive line, I have everything you can think of. I just filled in the rest of positions. I still have money. I'm going to simulate to the next season. Honestly, let's simulate to the draft. I'm going to sim the draft and see what the AI gives me. Just be questionable. I have 2 first-round picks as well. I don't need anything. My team is good, which is awesome to say, by the way. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't need a draft because my team is just so much better than everyone else. I mean, we could be a higher overall, but I can't really trade for much of anyone. I'm going to have to pay Shedeur in the next season, but thankfully the rebuild ends next season. But let's see what we have for the draft recap here as they picked up this guy, Darrell Rainey, 78 overall wide receiver, normal development blows, but 96 speed, 96 acceleration. They drafted a baller regardless of the development trait. And then LaRon Miles here, is this LeBron? But it's LaRon here, Miles, cornerback, W. Then left outside linebacker, 66, probably a bust. Right guard, JT Blanton, 72 overall, hidden development. All right. And then we got another wide receiver, 71 overall wide receiver, Wes Sims. Honestly, this really isn't a bad draft. This really is not a bad draft from the AI. 70 overall, Chester Brayton. Even though some of these guys have normal development, these are higher overalls. They pick some hidden developments as well. I'm really not mad at the AI for this simulated draft. Let's skip in to the regular season and then just go from there. This is the team after the draft. Pretty good overall. I mean, it's still relatively the same. Offensively, Rainey is going to be the 4th string receiver. Defensively, everything else looks pretty good here. I like what I see. Miles is there. Specialist, can I put Rainey? I want him in the slot. He has 96 speed. I want to try him out. Harris is going to be the number 3. Probably won't get that many reps this time, but everyone looks really good. Why stop putting Jalen Petrie and all these other guys at the sub linebacker? linebacker. I do not want that. Everything else looks pretty good, though. Jahmyr Gibbs as the #1 defensively. Stewart is a baller. Everyone else looks pretty good as well. Petrie is actually a higher overall than Nubin at strong safety, so we're going to try that. Everything else looks pretty good. 89 overall team. Already won a Super Bowl. Don't want to toot my own horn, but built a pretty good team. That's why you're watching the video. But let's move into the playoffs for the 4th and final year. 15-2. Look at all those greens. Look at green, baby. Offensive points per game, green. Offensive passing game, green. Ones across the board. You can just look at it for yourself. You love to see the green there. 91 overall team with the boost of morale. 15-2 record. Obviously the #1 seed as the Eagles go 9-8 and miss the playoffs. W. We're the only team in here. I mean, the only team in our division. Shedeur Sanders looks like the league MVP, and he is #2. That's ridiculous. He has the best passing offense, well, best passing yards, second best passing touchdowns, best passer rating as well. He threw 11 interceptions. Let's compare this to Joe Burrow. There's no way. He definitely got snubbed here. Let's see this. Joe Burrow, less passing yards. He had more passing touchdowns, less interceptions. We still had a better passer rating than him by far, and then Joe Burrow had 4 rushing touchdowns. While Shedeur has 1 less passing touchdown, 2 more interceptions, a significantly better pass rating by, what, a whole 11 points or something like that. Slightly more passing yards as well there. And then rushing-wise, he has 3 rushing touchdowns while Joe Burrow has 4. Shedeur Sanders was snubbed here. He had an amazing year for MVP, but got sacked 21 times as well. Jahmyr Gibbs, 21 touchdowns, 5.1 per carry, 1,400 yards, 1 fumble. That was a great signing. Malik Neighbors, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns. Darrell Rainey here, the rookie, 14 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. He was a baller in the slot. The AI picked good. Wan'Dale Robinson, almost 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. Theo Johnson, 7 touchdowns, 800 yards. Trey Harris, 600 yards and 10 touchdowns. Still balled out, even though he wasn't in the slot. Sacks allowed. Andrew Thomas still the most on the team, but hey, 8 sacks. He's improving a little bit. Melvin Marshall only with 3. 2 for John, 1 for Jaden Roberts, 1 for Ozzie, who's been surprisingly great along with Jaden Roberts. Micah McFadden, 121 tackles for a loss, 14 for Jordan Davis, 12 for Dexter Lawrence, 11 for Brian Burns. Sacks 23.5 for Kayvon Thibodeau. That's easily an X factor. And then 16.5 for Dexter Lawrence. Brian Burns with 12.5. He should have X factor. They're probably not going to give it to him. Cole Stewart, the safety, with 2 interceptions, deflections, 8 for Drew Phillips, 7 for Bobby Okereke, 6 for Cole Stewart, and then safeties, 0 defensive touchdowns is 1. So it took a little bit of development for Shedeur Sanders to get there. He threw 17 interceptions, and then he threw 26 interceptions, but I'm glad we kept him because he fully developed now. Here to face the 10-7 Atlanta Falcons. We are 15-2. Let's see if we can go back to the conference championship here, and we do. 24-21. We've already won the Super Bowl, so I'm going to simulate to the Super Bowl. If we make it, I'll jump in. If we don't, it's whatever. Let's see if we can do it, and the answer is, let's see, we do. Here to face the 10-7, 90 overall Kansas City Chiefs. We are a 91 overall team. They have a better offense, but we have a better defense, and we all know defense wins championships. Let me look at the roster. Shedeur Sanders goes to Superstar X Factor. He's going to get Escape Artist on his abilities, I guess. I'm rather change it to Gambit. It used to be Gambler. And then Jahmyr Gibbs goes to X Factor. Theo Johnson also goes to X Factor. Rainey goes to Star Development. 91 overall. Baller team here. Micah McFadden is the same. Kayvon Thibodeau, really? Okay, I'm gonna give him Superstar X Factor. If people want to complain in the comments, I don't care, dude. 23.5 sacks, and you're telling me this dude doesn't deserve Superstar X Factor. What is EA smoking, man? So now he gets Superstar X Factor. I don't want him to have Blitz Radar. Why would 2 players have Blitz Radar? We're gonna do Fearmonger. It's not Blitz Radar. It's called Blitz. I don't know if it's a huge difference, but either way, we're gonna put Fearmonger on him. All the other abilities are activated for them. Boss team right here. We're bossing up. Let's see if we can beat the Kansas City Chiefs to get back-to-back Super Bowl wins with Shedeur Sanders and the New York Giants. Here we are against the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to start out with a 3-and-out. We're going to start out with 3. Nice start. Our defense is really holding them down, and then we're going to make it a 6-0 game. They're not going to score there. Our defense is holding it down. Offense needs to step up. 14-0 here. Defense shutting out the Chiefs here. 21-7, 24-7, completely locking down the Chiefs, kind of like how the Eagles did in real life with that Super Bowl. 34-0 Chiefs. Remember that scoreboard. The final score was 40-22, but the real score was 34-0. Anyways, your Super Bowl champions back-to-back years will be the New York Giants and Shedeur Sanders. This rebuild worked out a lot better than I thought. Your Super Bowl MVP is Shedeur Sanders once again, and he didn't get 200 passing yards again. I know it's 6-minute quarters, but still, Joe Burrow gets stolen for the MVP here. Shedeur Sanders completely snubbed, and then Darrell Rainey, Offensive Rookie of the Year, AI pick. Love to see it, and that will be it. Project Shedeur Sanders on the New York Giants. Huge success here. Snubbed for league MVP, but 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 Super Bowl rings in the span of 4 years. You'll love to see the rebuild. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you guys have made it this far in the video. I'd really appreciate it. Just noticed Jaden Roberts also got star development. He deserved it. He's been a bother for us. But anyways, guys, apart from that, if you guys have any other ideas in the comments, let me know down below. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you guys.